time to begin this very special day, this very special afternoon for everyone. You know, one of the most important events we can have in the calendar of university is an investiture for a new endowed professor. And we're very fortunate today that we're going to be endowing the Charles L. Owen Professor in Design. Now, Chuck Owen, what a legendary faculty member at this university, what a legend in the area of design. A person who, after winning major awards in Japan twice, was asked not to do it again. Think of that. Think of that. Don't apply again because you're just too good at what you're doing. So I'd like to welcome everyone. I see we have more than 30 people joining this virtual webcast at the moment as we move towards this. There is a digital program book that you can look at during this time to follow along with what's happening. But now it's really my pleasure to, really introduce all of us to this situation. And I'd like to mention that our chairman is also watching this, and I'd like to just recognize that our chairman is here, the chairman of the board, Michael Galvin. So as we go, it's my honor to really start this program. The Chuck Owens Endowed Chair in Design was established by Rob Pugh in honor of the distinguished Professor Emeritus Chuck Owen. Rob knows Chuck very well for many years. Rob was chairman of the board of directors of Steelcase, the global leader in office furniture. He's been committed to ID initiatives for nearly 3 decades, and his personal commitments, counsel, and service have been transformative to the school, including his long-time service as past chairman of the board of overseers, the board of advisors. All the furniture you see through the Kaplan Institute and in the space used by ID was donated by Steelcase, a gift made possible through Rob's engagement with the university and dedication to the Institute of Design. Please, everyone, welcome Rob Pugh.
Thank you, Alan. I'm delighted to be included in today's investiture of Carlos Teixeira to the Charles Owen Professorship. I wish we could all be there in person, although I'd have to admit that skiing this morning and having this event this afternoon is a pretty good way to go. When I endowed this chair, I had 3 things in mind. First was to recognize a great man, Chuck Owen. And I understand Mary Owen is listening in. Hi, Mary. Truly in my life, Chuck has been one of the handful of people who has shaped my thinking about design. It is interesting to note that my love of design did not come from the popular user-centered design methodology pioneered by my friends at IDEO and is now so popular in the world, but from talking with Chuck and actively seeing how his pioneering methodology, structured planning, worked in real situations. Not to mention the joy of seeing his class design a space station or the graphic design work for the National Park System. My second reason for endowing this chair was to ensure that systems design remained a key ingredient of the ID. User-centered design is only part of the story. A deep understanding of the systems within which a project exists is the only way to truly change injustice. Really exploring all the touch points within a system leads to the discovery of those modifiers that might actually be able to change the system outcomes in a positive way. Third, and not least, my thanks to the Bobs, Galvin and Pritzker. My donation was matched, so I was able to achieve twice the size of the endowment and make this all the more worthwhile. Carlos, I am so delighted that you are the recipient of this chair. To have a faculty member who is truly dedicated to systems design and research is remarkable. I'm particularly excited about the Sustainable Solutions Lab and look forward to hearing about its success. Now, while I have the microphone, I could wish for those days when the students did those big systems projects like the space station I mentioned. How about a semester of building a prototype for the University of the Future? A university that's concentrated on what it does best and partners with other universities who are thought leaders in their own fields. A university that blends the best of remote learning with true team discovery. I could also wish for the development of systems frameworks, like we have developed frameworks for user-centered design. These might be simple mapping tools or tools that measure inflows and outflows, or they might be methods for building models, just to name a few. Carlos, I wish you the best, and I look forward to talking about your projects in person at some point in the not too distant future. And again, thank you all for including me in this event, and I'll return it to Alan.
Rob, thank you very much for your comments and your support of the university over the years. It's now my pleasure to introduce our provost, Peter Kilpatrick. Peter has been with us almost 3 years now. It seems like longer than that, but he is the leader and the thought leader of the faculty and really has been moving the university forward in a really great way. Peter?
Thank you, Alan. I have three things I want to mention today. First of all, the importance of this event. I've heard it said that a university cannot be better than its faculty, and I think that's a truism. And so this is one of the most joyful events that we have during the course of an academic year. And I believe this is the first time we've had a virtual investiture. We delayed, hoping that COVID would pass. And then finally we said, no, we just have too many important people to recognize. And so Carlos, you're our very first virtual investiture. I think we'll have a few more, but I'm very hopeful that in the near term, the pandemic will begin to end and we'll be able to celebrate in person. The second thing I want to share is what a special individual Carlos really is. As I reviewed his accomplishments and all the things that he's done and plans to do, the word that kept coming to mind was a designer's designer. Carlos works on very complex design strategies. He's a thought leader in trying to move the design methodology forward where we not consider just one optimization variable, but many variables, such as you might see in the circular economy and in environmental engineering. And he's a great teacher. I've seen how engaging he is with his students. He's a winner of teaching awards, both at Parsons and elsewhere. And Carlos, you're just a real credit to the Institute of Design. And I'm thrilled that you're the holder of this very prestigious chair in honor of Chuck Owens. And, you know, Chuck wanted someone to carry the mantle forward in systems design. And I have to believe he's smiling right now for this investiture. And then finally, it's my pleasure, my real joy to introduce Dennis Weil. Dennis came to ID 3 years ago, and I believe he knew that as he joined the university, he had giant shoes to fill. Patrick Whitney had just stepped down as dean. Past deans of the school include Laszlo Moholy-Nagy and Jay Doblin and other great luminaries in the field of design. And I think Dennis knew that it was really going to be important to reshape the Institute of Design for the next 20 years. And I'm really proud to say that Dennis has embraced this challenge, engaged in a very vigorous strategic planning exercise this year. And one of the outcomes of that strategic planning exercise was the ideation of the Action Lab, which is the lab that will engage corporate America and organizational America and help them think about systems design and complex strategies for design. And Carlos is the leader of that lab. So to you, Dennis, and to Carlos, thank you so much for all you do for the Institute of Design and for Illinois Tech. And with that, I'll turn it over to Dennis for the next portion of the ceremony.
Thank you, Provost Kilpatrick and Peter. So it's my privilege to be given the role of introducing today's honoree, and it is my pleasure. Having a faculty member like Carlos makes the job of a dean much easier. Carlos is a 21st century style faculty member, and I define that as someone that leads in multiple ways. Leads as a coach. Carlos sets high professional expectations and approaches and coaches his students as professional practitioners to be. The students' final presentations are at a professional level, presented to professional audiences before the pandemic, and now broadcasted as webcasts globally since the pandemic, building the students' self-image and experience. The 21st century faculty member also leads as a practice developer. Carlos does that in his own research and as the director of the PhD program. He's very active and focused on expanding and modernizing the design practice in his research. He approaches and works directly with corporations, NGOs, and foundations. In the same vein, he changed the PhD program that he leads as well to a program-based program, further building the practice modernization and expansion of ID. And third, a 21st century faculty member acts as an entrepreneur. Carlos is an innovator in his teaching and in his practice development. He's a founding member of the leading global design PhD collaborative, which includes Carnegie Mellon, Imperial College, Aalto, Delft, and Politecnico di Milano. And they together has just received an Erasmus grant to actually further develop what a leading PhD program looks like. He also is amazing at scouring new funding sources every year for his research and maintains current contracts. And now, as Pete already mentioned, he takes on the lead for developing, piloting, and building our new action lab, for which he already developed a 21st century style think tank platform that acts as a convener, a mediator, and a practice disseminator. In short, Carlos is a lot like Professor Charles Owen was, a coach, a practice developer, and an entrepreneur. And I'm so happy that Mary Owen is with us here today. And I know from many conversations with Mary that she agrees with this description of Chuck as well. Lastly, I would like to give my personal expression of appreciation to Carlos. I consider Carlos as a partner in what we do. I count on his counsel based on his close to 20-year academic career and his calm and considered approach to opportunities and challenges. There's a guiding moment in our faculty meetings when Carlos starts talking and gives his points of view on the issues we discuss, because it comes with that calm and a huge considerateness. So I thought it was special, the partnership I had, but it turns out it's not. Carlos is a partner to many more people around the world, so let's hear from them as well.
Carlos really embodies what it means to be a design professor and systems thinking. Carlos
is a system thinking by nature. He's always looking at the connection between the parts, exploring what could it be, and understanding the parts in itself.
I think that this recognition that is being given to him has a lot to do with this type of approach to design that always look beyond the established boundaries of a discipline.
Carlos' systems design was actually the part of design that got me interested in ID in the first place.
Carlos is a very rigorous scholar, and he's committed to design and committed to ID.
He's a very passionate and engaging professor.
Carlos, as a mentor and as an advisor, I don't think he ever let me down.
You know, if I had anything that I hoped would be achieved by you and your classes over the years, would be thinking about frameworks for systems design. We have tons of frameworks for design, but I don't think we have a lot of frameworks to use in the area of systems and understanding systems flow.
Congratulations! This is a wonderful honor, and I'm so proud to be able to work with you. and look forward to all of the great things that you're going to be able to do with this professorship. Congratulations.
Congratulations. I think you've deserved it. I really have enjoyed working with you, and I think that the work that he's done and that he's encouraged students to do has been really meaningful.
Yeah, I would like to congratulate with him. I think that this is certainly a very important recognition for his work.
So Carlos, I guess I wish that I could be there. Last time I was there for an investiture, we were able to celebrate over a glass of wine and toast each other and have a good conversation. And how about we just take a rain check on that? And there'll be a time when this pandemic is under control and we can do those kinds of things again.
So, Carlos, I am very excited for what's to come, to you, to ID, and to us.
Wonderful, and I took notice of the rain check. So I can do that. So now we are ready for the actual investiture. Just some background: Carlos will be the third holder of the Charles Owen Professorship. First was Professor Emeritus Kay Sado, who held the chair from its inception in 2009 to 2016, and who is here online today, all the way from Norway, I assume. So thank you, Kay, for joining. I'm sure it means a lot to Carlos. And then second, Professor Emeritus Vijay Kumar, who held the chair from 2018 and 2019. And now we are honored to have Associate Professor Carlos Teixeira as the Charles Owen Professor. Carlos, if you're ready, I now invite Renata to place your medallion around your neck as you're now formally invested as the Charles L. Owen Endowed Professor.
A beautiful medallion.
Very nice.
It is a beautiful medallion.
Yes.
Congratulations, Carlos.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. Wow, that's surprising. All that many people and all that. But I first of all want to say thank you for all of you, and I really mean it. My feeling today is very similar to my first when I came to ID. So Renata and I got married in 96.
98.
And 96.
Wow.
And we decided to, usually it's the husband, but listen.
I'm the word.
And 97, we traveled to Chicago when I was applying to the PhD. And I remember going to the tower and visiting the tower and visiting Chuck Owen with his white shirt. That's why I have the white shirt here with me, because he was the perfect engineer with the white shirt dressing there. He was the symbol of the tower. He was the designer engineer in the tower. But the feeling that I had the moment that I stepped into that building was that I was always welcome, and especially welcomed by the design community. That was the feeling that we had there when I left that building and said, that's the place that I want to be. And I was very fortunate to join ID the next year, studying my PhD. And that time we moved to downtown. Thanks, Rob, for the big support there for us to have this, the new building, the new school and space over there. 23 years later, we are here. I feel very honored with the opportunity to continue Chuck's legacy. So it has been 24 years married to my wife, 23 years married to ID and IIT. And Chuck's legacy is about applying systems thinking to design. And I think there is no one else that has done that as impressive and impactful as Chuck. Chuck was someone that beyond just thinking about systems, he was someone that was always talking about that humanity needs design. And Chuck showed us how we can use design and systems thinking to address large, complex, and interconnected problems. For me, that was the beauty of whatever we talk to Chuck I was learning that. I was being exposed to that. So his view of the world, from the most simple thing to the most complex things, would always bring in those lenses and those interpretations. And navigating my 4 years of the PhD with Chuck was always this ability of seeing things anew. Rob, and for everyone that is supporting me on that, my goal with this endowment is to build on the work on designing sustainable solutions. I think that Chuck has already pioneered that, but he was definitely a reference on all the work that needs to be done in this area. And I hope I can continue that. So it's time for envisioning the next generation to address large complex problems in the areas of healthcare, in the area of mobility, in the area of energy, food, and so forth. So yes, it's my pledge also, Rob, to work on developing the new frameworks, the new strategies, the new approaches that would allow us to help organizations, to help leaders navigate the challenging transition into sustainable solutions. At ID, I intend to lead this area of research and know-how. So it's not only the research, but the know-how. We need to develop the know-how, and that's what design is good at doing. Thanks, Chuck, for opening the door. Thanks, Rob, for supporting this project. Thanks, ID and Illinois Tech for making me feel at home. And thanks, my family, for all the love and support through all those years. And I'm really looking forward now with this beautiful medallion, with the champagne that we got, to celebrate and get back to work hard every single day for honoring the legacy of Chuck and the support of Rob and my home, ID. Thank you.
I guess I'm up next. It's Eric Larson. Let me be the first to officially congratulate the new Charles L. Owen Professor of Design, Dr. Carlos Teixeira. My name is Eric Larson. I'm the chairman of the Board of Advisors for the Institute of Design. And you might say, I also have large shoes to fill. My predecessor was Rob Pugh, who served as the chairman of the Institute of Design for 25 years and endowed this professorship. So thank you, Rob, for all you have done and continue to do for the Institute of Design. Now, before I say a few words about Carlos, I want to acknowledge some of the other attendees. First is Patrick Whitney, who I hope is here today, the longtime dean of the Institute of Design. He introduced me to the school when I first became an Illinois Tech trustee. I'd also like to acknowledge Mary Owen, Chuck's wife, who I have never met, but I love it that she has been described as his co-conspirator. That sounds to me like an ideal marriage. And Renata, who I just met virtually today, as Carlos's wife, it's clear you are also his co-conspirator. So I'd also finally like to acknowledge my fellow members of the Board of Advisors for the Institute of Design, its faculty, its students, and its alums who give the school its vitality. Now, I never had the opportunity to meet Chuck Owen, but I've come to know him through the legacy of his students, colleagues, and friends who cherished his contributions to the field of design. At Chuck's memorial, Patrick Whitney described how Chuck believed that the core of design can be applied to anything that touches humans. My board colleague, Larry Keeley, eloquently described what Chuck did for the design profession, enabling it to grapple with the hard parts. And doesn't it feel like in this era, we're all about grappling with the hard parts? So more than ever, we need a substantive approach to design that is systematic, workable, robust, and pragmatic. That is the legacy of ID and the legacy of Charles L. Owen. Dennis Weil, the current dean, is guiding ID into the future, turning up the heat, so to speak, on new and big challenges like climate change, inequality, and other complex, gnarly problems. But Dennis cannot succeed without the substance rigor, and methodical brilliance of Dr. Carlos Teixeira. In this past year, as you've heard, ID is engaged in a strategic planning process. The Board of Advisors has been actively involved, and we've had many opportunities to interact with Carlos as this process has unfolded. He's taken on the leadership of the Action Lab, one of the 3 pillars of the new strategy. And as far as I can tell, this is the aspect of the strategic plan that best exemplifies Chuck Owen's legacy. Therefore, it is entirely fitting that Carlos fulfill that role in his new capacity as the Charles L. Owen Professor of Design. So congratulations, Carlos. I'm drinking a toast to you. Congratulations to Renata, Sophia, and Enrique as well. More than ever, the world needs the discipline of design. I would like to again thank Rob Pugh for his generous gift as ID embarks on its portion of the IIT capital campaign. We hope Rob's generosity will inspire others, other gifts to invest in ID's future. So thank you and good afternoon.
Thank you, Eric, and congratulations to Carlos and Renata and Sophia and Enrique, and as Eric said, to really the whole ID community. I know, Carlos, you exemplify the ID community of scholars and students and staff. And so in some sense, we share the joy of the entire ID community in sharing your joy today and being recognized with this endowed professorship. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you once again. And my last word is just to say something that I think is also critical for all the success from all of us is the students. I learned the joy of being a teacher, and or something of treating the classroom as a very special place. I miss a lot. We are doing online, but I think the interaction with the students is something that is so sacred, so unique, that when I look back what we have achieved and the reason why we are working all those issues, and thanks again for all the support, is because the students make us work hard. Every time they have a question, it makes me be nervous and try to find an answer to that. The unknown that the students bring is always the motivation that makes us move forward. So thanks again for all the support. But again, I really thank for all the students for their curiosity, their interest, and their passion, because they are the ones that would make the changes. We are just supporting them to make that transition. So just wanted to, after seeing the videos of some of the students, just again, thank them for being fantastic on just being there.
After all, it's all about the students. Here's to the students.
Yes, congratulations, Carlos.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Alan.
And thanks to Advancement and Dennis and everyone who made this virtual investiture possible, to all the people who contributed to the video, to Rob, to you, Eric, Alan. Thanks to everyone who participated in the ceremony today, either as a panelist or as a participant. I really appreciate you turning out to support Carlos and to support Illinois Tech. So thank you to everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Applause, time applause.